Cleopatra VII Pilopator, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, remains one of the most iconic and complex figures in world history. Her life combined political brilliance, diplomatic skill, romantic alliances, dramatic wars, and the final collapse of one of the greatest ancient civilizations. This summary aims to present the key historical points: her rise to power, political strategies, alliances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, conflicts with Rome, and the ultimate fall of Egypt. 1. Background: the Ptolemaic dynasty and Cleopatra's early life. Cleopatra was born in 69 BCE into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a Greek-speaking royal family that had ruled Egypt since the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BCE. By the time Cleopatra was born, the dynasty was weakened by internal conflicts, corruption, and growing Roman interference. Egypt was still wealthy, but its political stability was fragile. Cleopatra was the daughter of King Ptolemy XII, a ruler who struggled to maintain power and often depended on Rome to protect his throne. Growing up in such a tense political atmosphere, Cleopatra learned early the importance of diplomacy. She received a classical Greek education, studying rhetoric, philosophy, languages, mathematics, and astronomy. Unlike most Ptolemaic rulers, Cleopatra learned to speak Egyptian fluently. This helped her gain support from the native population and made her a unique figure in the dynasty. 2. Accession to the throne and the conflict with Ptolemy, the 13th after the death of Ptolemy, the 12th, in 51 BCE. Cleopatra ascended the throne alongside her brother Ptolemy XIII, in accordance with Egyptian royal custom. They were supposed to rule jointly as husband and wife, but political tensions quickly emerged. Cleopatra attempted to rule independently, issuing coins in her own name and taking a dominant role in government. The powerful advisors of Ptolemy XIII saw Cleopatra's growing influence as a threat. A civil conflict emerged within the royal family, and Cleopatra was eventually forced to flee Egypt in 48 BC. She went to Syria and gathered an army, preparing to reclaim her throne. 3. Cleopatra and Julius Caesar. Politics and alliance at this moment. Julius Caesar arrived in Alexandria, pursuing Pompey in the Roman Civil War. Cleopatra recognized a strategic opportunity. She famously smuggled herself into Caesar's presence. Legend. Caesar Carpatus seek his support. Caesar, impressed by her intelligence, charisma, and political vision, agreed to mediate the royal dispute in her favor. Caesar's involvement led to the Alexandrian War. After intense fighting, Ptolemy XIII drowned while fleeing the Battle of the Nile. Cleopatra regained her throne and married her younger brother Ptolemy XIV, though she held the real power. Birth of Caesarian Cleopatra and Caesar developed a political and romantic alliance. In 47 BCE, she gave birth to a son, Ptolemy XV, Caesar, commonly known as Caesarian Little Caesar. This strengthened her position and represented her ambition to link Egypt's future with that of Rome. For Cleopatra and Roma, influence and controversy, Cleopatra visited Rome in 46 BCE and stayed near Caesar's villa. Her presence caused political controversy, as Romans feared that Caesar might make himself king and place Cleopatra beside him. Nevertheless, Cleopatra's visit strengthened Egypt's. She observed Roman politics closely, understanding that the future of Egypt depended on Rome's internal power struggles. Her stay ended abruptly when Caesar was assassinated in 44 BCE. Rome plunged into chaos, and Cleopatra quickly returned to Egypt to protect her throne. She arranged the death of her younger brother Ptolemy XIV and proclaimed Caesarion as King. 5. Rebuilding Egypt and strengthening power following Caesar's assassination. Cleopatra focused on stabilizing Egypt. She launched economic reforms, restored temples, expanded trade, and strengthened the military. Egypt enjoyed prosperity under her rule, but the growing power struggle in Rome would soon draw her back into international conflict. 6. Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Political partnership and love. After Caesar's death, Rome was ruled by the second triumvirate Mark Antony, Octavian, the future, Augustus, and Lepidus. Antony, responsible for the eastern provinces, summoned Cleopatra to Tarsus in 41 BCE to answer accusations. that she had supported Caesar's enemies, Cleopatra arrived in grand style, demonstrating wealth and power. Antony, like Caesar before him, was captivated. Their relationship soon became both political and romantic. Antony sought Egypt's wealth to finance his campaigns, while Cleopatra sought a strong Roman ally to secure Egypt's independence and elevate Caesarian's position. The donations of Alexandria in 34 BCE, Antony granted lands to Cleopatra and her children, an act known as the Donations of Alexandria. He declared Cleopatra Queen of Kings and Caesarion, the legitimate heir of Julius Caesar. This enraged Octavian in Rome. 7. The conflict with Octavian, propaganda and war. Octavian used Antony's relationship with Cleopatra to wage a propaganda war. He portrayed Antony as a weak Roman, corrupted by an Eastern queen. He also claimed that Antony planned to shift Rome's capital to Alexandria, threatening Roman identity. In 32 BCE, Octavian declared war not on Antony, but on Cleopatra herself. This was politically strategic, as attacking an Egyptian queen appeared more honorable than fighting a fellow Roman. 8. The Battle of Actium and the downfall. The decisive conflict occurred at the naval Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. Antony and Cleopatra's forces were defeated by Octavian's general Agrippa. During the chaotic retreat, Cleopatra's ship fled, and Antony followed. Their remaining forces collapsed. After Actium, Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Alexandria. Octavian advanced steadily toward Egypt. 9. Cleopatra's final days and death in 30 BCE. Octavian captured Alexandria. Antony, believing Cleopatra was dead, fell on his sword. Severely wounded, he was taken to Cleopatra, where he died in her arms. Cleopatra, realizing she would be paraded in Rome as a trophy, chose to end her life. The traditional story claims she used an ASP Egyptian cobra to poison herself, though other theories suggest poison hidden in a hairpin. She died at age 39. Her son Caesarion was soon executed on Octavian's orders. 10. The fall of ancient Egypt and legacy of Cleopatra. With Cleopatra's death, Egypt became a Roman province, the wealthy breadbasket of the empire. Her death marked the end of the Hellenistic era and the final fall of Pharaonic rule that had lasted more than 3,000 years. Cleopatra's legacy remains debated. Was she a seductive temptress or a brilliant strategist? Modern scholarship portrays her as highly educated, politically intelligent, multilingual, and an ambitious ruler who fought to preserve Egypt's sovereignty.